Hello. He's going back to Slovenia. He's done 3 months of residency here. Came here on his 21st birthday and has been here for 3 months. So going back maximum amount of his visa. And so he's had quite an experience here. He just wrote a book that we'll be putting out probably for free or for $2 or something, just so you guys see what an outsider's perspective is, having had a long, intimate training here at IMC Nation. We're at the studio here at Vegas. And the guys here in base, some of them are getting ready for work, some of them are getting ready to go out. We'll be going out right after this. And I just wanted to report in with Jean before he goes, basically, while it's still fresh on his mind. So that's my intro for Jean. I have a bunch of questions for him. Is there anything you wanted to open with or like just say, or do you just want to get right into the questions?
I would prefer to go into the questions because I think they're interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So in his ebook, at some point, he had said that it was how to talk to women was important. He had come to that realization. You have to see the book for how I mean, every man has their upbringing. They saw mom and dad. They went through school. They had heartbreak. They tried to get a girl. They failed to get a girl. They got the girl. They broke their heart. And then, I mean, we're talking IMC, so these guys have seen AZD's
Hmm.
clips. And so you're aware there's a guy that has 9 girlfriends and they're all fine. And they all know about each other. It's a perfect
Hmm.
harmony. And so Jean came across that information and was like, okay. And he was already studying with a female teacher. It was a spiritual teacher. So it's spiritual lineage, not like how to get women. But, there's probably more that you would unpack for that. So looking back, what was really behind that search for how to talk to women?
So the first time I came across AZD was when I was 15 years old, and that was after I went on like a double date with a friend, and I got rejected. So I was pretty much looking for answers, and I
Like
legit
she just didn't show up or she just didn't
no,
like
like
you?
we talked and we exchanged like
She didn't
Snapchat.
like you.
So
Yeah.
she didn't like me, or I didn't know how to talk to her,
Yeah.
whatever. So after that, bro, I was like feeling down for a couple of days, and I legit went on YouTube.
This is 6 years ago when he's 15.
Yeah, when I was 15, and I legit went on YouTube and I typed in how to talk to girls. And one of the videos was from AZD, and I heard about like I listened to a couple of videos and it made sense, but it was just too powerful for me at that moment because I didn't have much experience. And then I went through like a spiritual journey, like Yogi Chris mentioned that I had a female spiritual teacher. And then, yeah, bro,
So what was behind that? How to talk to women? It was the heartbreak at 15,
yeah,
and then you just went down the rabbit hole from there.
yeah, the heartbroken at 15, then the rabbit hole. So.
Right on. Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
probably very relatable for a lot of guys.
Mhm.
So how did leaving your spiritual teacher prepare you for IMC Nation?
So the thing is that the spiritual teacher I had, like, she helped me a lot with like internal stuff. It
At
just started.
15, were you already working with
No,
her?
I started to work with her at 18
Okay.
because my brother and my sister they were introducing
Yeah.
me to her. And the thing is, her main focus was like meditation and connecting to like a higher version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that was just the intro, and I was really pulled towards it. Like I didn't even know why I was so pulled, but I was just pulled.
Uh-huh.
And then we kind of transitioned into healing trauma because, like, everybody as they're growing up, they have bullshit parents, bullshit relationships, blah, blah, blah. So I had a lot of like mental visions of my childhood that wasn't very pleasant. So she helped me heal that
Yeah.
and also like meditations and connecting to the higher source.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing foundation. So when the second time I found AZD or when I searched AZD again, his stuff made more sense because I was cleaner and I was actually prepared to
Yeah.
see that. So she made a huge impact on me, and that's like one of the key foundation that I have to understand AZD.
Right on. And so you did rediscover him, and then what was it when you rediscovered ACD that clicked for you so heavily?
Yeah, so after another failed relationship or another girl that didn't like me,
All that spiritual
all
and
that spiritual.
higher self and whatever, and still the bitch didn't like you.
Yeah, and bro, keep in mind, I was like boxing, dancing salsa. I did public speaking. That was, of course, because I also got rejected once again. And I had all this foundation, and I thought, okay, I'm a fighter. I won a couple fights. I'm doing all this like spiritual stuff. I'm still going out, but I don't get any results. Or maybe I get like a girl to maybe sleep with me once, maybe get like a kiss, but no long-term stuff. So I was again in that loop, like just asking myself, like, what am I missing? Like I'm missing something. Like what the fuck am I missing, right? And then I remember like who's that bald guy, you know? Who's that bald guy? And then after like 2 days, I get the vision like, yo, it's AZD. Then I went into YouTube, search AZD, and I legit after 20 minutes of watching his videos, things just like click, click, like the doors just kept opening and kept opening. And I was like, man, I need to buy some of this stuff. Like this stuff resonates so much. I want to purchase the stuff that's like the paid stuff, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a Calendly thing that you can book. So that was the first time I got introduced to Yogi Chris. And he recommended me the what's the training? It was the Who Lies More party, which is
Mm.
pretty much like there were like 5 guys and 5 girls, each like in a pair,
It was a house
and
party with a bunch
house
of
party.
models and AZD running the basically this round table. I think it was more like 8 guys and 8 girls.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, and because I auditioned all the models and so I think it was about 8 and 8, and it's 2.5 hours of HD following AZD around while he talks to the girls and talks to the guys, and you see his material, what he talks about, how he runs set, how he holds court, how he runs a party, basically.
Mm. Yeah, man. And the thing is that in that party, in that game show, what I saw is that AZD has the ability to, when he speaks to women, they open up. Because I saw that a lot of people have some sort of a shell around them, but they have this beautiful pearl inside of them. And when AZD spoke, he was able to speak to this beautiful pearl.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind. And I remember after like 20 minutes of watching that, like seeing the first interactions, I was like, either this guy is super legit or super phony, but whatever it is, it's like super potent and is super aligned with what I want, right? Because I had visions of, let's say, I know a couple people that are kind of players and they did have similar results, but they weren't as clean or as advanced as AZD is. So when I saw that, I remember I watched the whole thing, like the whole 3 hours straight away. And I even told like one of my friends about it, but I could see he was interested, but it was still like kind of out of the mind or kind of out of reach
Yeah.
for other people. So
Yeah,
that
that's
was
what
like
I'll
the
get
first
into next.
experience.
There's this, I think it's a female commenting. You're trying to
Hmm.
get a girl, I'll make it easy. First of all, it's interesting when girls type about that. I wonder how many girls you've gotten, actually. Have you been getting girls? I know it sounds ridiculous as a girl, but it's kind of like every girl has an opinion about how to get girls, but they don't get girls, and they none of the guys that follow their advice get girls. Like you
Yeah.
don't help anybody. I'll make it easy. You need to accomplish your goals first. Maybe, definitely, it's a higher value thing. A guy that accomplishes his goals, but I can point 100 guys that accomplish goals that still can't get girls, and I could point to every rich guy I've ever met that obviously is accomplishing his goals and still can't get girls. So you didn't just make it easy for guys. You just said some bullshit to make yourself feel better. A girl wants to feel safe, true. We look for, but she also wants excitement, fun, and how you attract a girl, you don't make her feel safe to attract her. So if you just go for making a girl feel safe, you're never going to get girls because but that's clearly an element, obviously. We look for reasons not to trust. That's when I knew it was a girl because when she said we. Uh, but if a guy does things that make us feel or recognize safety, that is what builds attraction. That's not what builds attraction, but that builds comfort and safety. I mean, that's what it is. So, right on. So then, I was gonna ask you something else here. What's this next thing? So, and this is important. So you described watching AZD talk to women like opening safes.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that was kind of the analogy of the clamshell
right, with the beautiful pearl
with the
inside.
beautiful pearl
Yeah, I
inside.
got it. It's so romantic. So, what were you seeing that other guys weren't? Because you said your friends it wasn't really clicking with. So, what do you think was the like thing that you
Damn.
saw?
That's a good question because
Thanks.
I'm wondering it also. Like, how did I see these things and other people didn't, right?
You're right.
Um, but what I think, this is just like my opinion, so this may
Yeah,
not be right, but
might be.
because I was so spiritually connected from when I was a kid, like somehow I knew there were like spirits and angels and demons, like I could see them and feel them, but like for some reason I think I had a stronger a stronger connection to this like spiritual stuff. So when I did like the trainings at the first spiritual teacher, the female one, that I just cleansed the spiritual stuff. So I think that allowed me to be more open-minded, and I think I'm way more like I could talk to a person that does drugs or a person that would like want to kill themselves, but I could talk to them, because I see that maybe some of my friends, they were kind of more judging, or they had like, yeah, I think they were just like more judging. And I think I'm way more open-minded and way more like open for energies, and I've been called like not how do you say it? That I'm just like some spiritual guy that I should go to like India with and study with the
Who
monks.
told you that?
One of my friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. How's
Because
he doing with women?
I think he had like a girlfriend for 3 months the last time I knew it.
Nice.
So yeah,
Congratulations to him.
congratulations. Yeah.
She ruined his life. Just like this girl. I mean, she left, but I
Oh,
know this guy isn't paying you for advice. You don't know anything. You just talk. What a weirdo. What a weirdo.
you want to join?
No, she left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Sucks.
So what would you say it was? What was it that you noticed that other guys
I
don't?
think I was just more spiritual and more open-minded. I think open-mindedness is the key because I could observe. I remember the first time I came across AZD, I was like, either this guy's like fake or like connected to like devil or evil
Yeah.
or whatever. Like
Yeah.
those were my thoughts that I had, or this guy's like a demon or something.
He is.
But even if, yeah, it turns out the guy is or whatever, but I was like, even if he is, I still want to get to know that part because I've seen a lot of like spiritual people,
Yeah.
they get afraid of like the devil, they get afraid
Right.
of
Yeah, he's
demons.
fearless and
And
he's got the results. Really, the results is what it is.
yeah,
But then when you see that it's just a fearlessness it's so entrancing because it pulls you in because it just makes sense. And
mhm,
then you see, yeah, you got all these weird triggers and buttons on words and concepts that like are not necessary,
yeah,
but those are actually ego. And right
yeah.
on.
And I wanted to say another thing that
Yeah.
in one of the lectures, AZD mentioned like if you're actually that certain into Christ and that certain into God, the devil shouldn't affect you.
Yeah.
Like if you're that clean, you can walk right to the devil and exorcise him.
Yeah.
And when he said that, like the demons that were kind of developing as I was observing him
Mhm.
just got cleaned because he
Mhm.
said that sentence. And
It's very empowering.
that was empowering and it just hooked me in more and more because I
Yeah.
saw that like
Everybody else was making you weaker. They were like, avoid this, avoid that. All the spiritual
yeah,
people
yeah,
were like, avoid this, avoid that. That's bad, 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 bad.
mm-hmm,
And they had these like force fields when it comes to certain topics or subjects or whatever.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
I mean, even like some of them will be so sexually free, but if you're a macho guy, they repel on that. They're not sexually free. They're just sexually
Mm-hmm.
outlandish. And when you go like as me going in the yoga world or whatever, or different yoga retreats, and you're a male that's dominant in his sexuality, they have a lot of buttons on that. And I'm not hurting anybody, but they have traumas that think it's associated with that and this and that, and they're just as normy as everybody when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and somehow that gets triggered when these types of conversation come up. And
yeah. So you can't have these kinds of conversations. That's
yeah,
why I was freer going in the yoga world because I was an entrepreneur. I was in control of my income. I was creating what I wanted,
mm-hmm.
but the conversations were very limited, of course, around those students and the women, and I don't know who they are. And I'm in a visiting town. I got banned from different studios for, what I was
Mm-hmm.
saying or how I was. And, even though I get testimonies, you only need one naysayer. Like you'd have 30 people and get like one or two or three great testimonies, but then one person had a problem with you
Mm-hmm.
and they complain in that liberal way and the owner is a liberal or doesn't want to lose even a single client or have one bad review, and kind of like Jose comes here, he has great experience, goes home, his sister looks up bad reviews of AZD. Bro, if you're worth anything, go to the Navy SEALs. I'll bet they have bad reviews. Like go to Harvard, I'll bet they have bad reviews.
Yeah.
Like who doesn't have bad reviews? And any team worth anything has more dropouts or cuts than people on it. The Chicago Bulls, how many people got cut? The Charlotte Hornets, the any college team, like, man. So that's what I had to say about negative reviews. Now, if you have no positive reviews, then maybe that's something, but even there, because like we don't even use Yelp. So I haven't posted any positive reviews on Yelp. Who's using Yelp positive? So if you see Yelp reviews and it's only like three negative and no positive,
Mm-hmm.
bro, how's AZD been teaching game for 16 years and $4 million came in? Was everybody fooled? Were there no repeat buyers? No, it was actually like 80-90% repeat buyers. It's hard to get a new buyer actually of AZD because he's so extreme. But it's almost all just alumni returners the whole time.
Mm.
So, okay, let's see. And then, so this is interesting. We'll see how far we get into all these questions. I mean, they're all probably interesting, but this is the last really powerful one. Is from Jean's perspective, 21-year-old, got into spirituality, learned some AZD tech. It was okay, that's great, but then went another way, learned from this other spiritual teacher for 3 years, came back to AZD tech, and it was like it clicked because you were open-minded. I think it was, you just see more of what is. Open-minded is just like clear-minded. You're seeing it. The other people, they're not seeing it. And you're able to connect it to your future in a way that other people have so many obstacles in their mind to projecting into the future that it's just they can't really run the simulation. So they don't see how your mating strategy is really fucking you up, that you're not getting better, you're not getting the results you want. And wherever you're at, if you're complacent or content, project it forward for some time and you're about to ruin your life more again. Like guys aren't getting better and better relationships as they grow older. Occasionally, some of them do, but and then whatever. But that's rare. I don't really see. I don't have an example. I almost just say that just to like kind of give a little bit to the other side. But I don't really actually see guys getting better relationships over time. That's amazing to look at, actually. So the question is, from your perspective, what are the guys getting wrong about spirituality?
Yeah, because the thing is that I was facing the same thing of trying to be the cleanest version of myself, like eating clean, being the perfect man or being the perfect boy or whatever. And I remember I have this one friend from boxing who's like a high level boxer, and the dude is very into spirituality, like meditates every single night, every single morning, does like fasting for weeks at a time. Like the dude is very, very spiritual. But I know from his story, he also had like a girl that's like a couple years older than him, but she runs the relationship. And like he was failing in that relationship. So I saw myself in him and I could see the route that I would go on because at some point, if I didn't like meet AZD and this tech, I would probably legit go to India and become a monk because I thought that's the path to liberation, to liberate something, but I didn't know what I was liberating at actually.
Liberate your masculinity from you.
Yeah, probably. And the most interesting part about this is that, like, the first time I came here in person, I talked for like 2 hours and a half. And from my perspective, like, if you're spiritual or anything, like the Holy Spirit spoke through me. And I even got like the discount for messengers, which is amazing. It was, but the thing is that
Smear in the background.
Shimmer in the background. So, but what was like the weakness or what AZD was trying to show me that, yeah, you can be super clean, super spiritual, like all that stuff is great, but we'll see when it comes to women. So that same night, we went to a strip club and I was like the Buddha, right? I was like the clean guy, the Buddha. And I saw AZD with like 3 or 4 girls, and I had like maybe like a 5 minute interaction with one girl, and she just came to take my money and went away. But then I was looking at AZD, and he then, like, when he did talk to me, he said, Zan, do you now see? I'm like the Buddha in the club. You can be all spiritual, all you want. But can you get the girl? Can you be spiritual when you're next to a girl? And that moment humbled the fuck out of me because even though I had like a super spiritual talk that day, the same night I got humbled because I saw I can be all spiritual I want, but
Is
if
the
I
girl going to be attracted?
is the girl
Like
gonna
the
be
girl
attracted?
with all that
Yeah.
advice, she's like, make her feel safe and she'll build attraction for you. What do you think about that?
About what John is saying?
No, about first what the girl had said. I'm just curious. She was
What
like,
exactly did the girl say?
I don't know exactly. I don't want to scroll back, but it was basically like start with safety and it'll build attraction. The girl, it'll build attraction.
That's just incorrect. That's just bad. It's like saying throw the cross before the jab.
Throw the cross before the jab. That's a great analogy.
It's wrong setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then you were saying Buddha in the club. Yeah, spiritual because if
Yeah.
she's not attracted, what good's your spirituality? You could get an ugly chick because she'll feel safe enough and there's nobody of value really attracting her that she can be attracted to and get. And so she'll come in proximity and then she'll, obviously feel safe with you. But
Yeah, and also
starting at the friend zone.
yeah, listening to like spiritual teachers, like I saw their relationships, and it was like, okay, so you're divorced, you don't have a like stable relationship. And then there comes this guy, AZD, with like 9 relationships or 10 relationships, and all beautiful women staying with him for like 18 years or 19 years. And just by being logical, like pure logic, the guy has relationships for 18 years, multiple. And then I see the spiritual people or whatever, and it's like, what do you want? What do you want at the end of that? Like, we're human beings. And now, if you want to meditate all day and be like a yoga guy, or like if you want to meditate, be spiritual, know the Bible, know Quran, that's fine. But are you here for relationships, or are you here to be spiritual?
Yeah, I've never
Because
seen
there's the
anybody
book,
like that. It's they
yeah.
try, but and it was the same disillusionment with different yoga teachers and the failing in relationships and yoga teacher I did teacher training with, and a whole disaster happened during the training because of a girl. And like the other mentor, I mean, the ones I ended up resonating with were the ones that seemed to have some understanding that things are fucked up. They didn't have the answer, but they knew things were fucked up. There's this one guy I follow. His name is Yanni Yaitinen. He does these crazy back of the hand and outside of the ankle, like contortion, but like super. And he's a bhakti yogi. He does the Hare Krishna all day. He would say that the yoga postures are his hobby. He's just a hobbyist, but he's like one of the greatest posture people on the planet, really. And for like the last year, he's been going off, and he's very foreign, and he almost looks Down syndrome. He's all pale and white, and he lives in like Malaysia, but he's like he's the yogi's yogi. Like if you're a yoga posture person and you like do leg behind the head and one-handed handstands and shit, you know about Yanni Yaitinen because he's better than you. He is like kind of like the AZD of yoga posture movement. But it's and I'm very pleased. I've been seeing his streams, even though it's again, he has no attractiveness to a girl. He's very monotone. He's super intellectual. He pulls from Sanskrit all the time. That's the thing I like. One of the things I like. He's very scholarly, and he's been going off for like a year about fake yogis and feminists and attachment to materialism, people with weed and ayahuasca, and really he's been going on feminism a lot. He's like, these women are wrong. These the guys that are for that, it's wrong. That's not yoga. You're doing it wrong. And he's really about lineage. So I appreciate that there's someone in that community speaking that way. But again, where's his relationship? Where's the girl? And that's the best of the best. Like all the other yoga people. And the thing about it is, like even with Puya or somebody that's like, I'm not in it for the dating or necessarily, that if you don't have the dating down, your level of influence is very minimal. So I had a teacher that had seemingly overcome, like didn't need that. He was a wanderer. He lived in nature a lot. He was a vegan for many years, for 40 years, and it was amazing. But I remember, at one point a park ranger or something had come up, and it was a female, and she was like, for a park ranger, she was mildly attractive. For my teacher was like 70 years old, so I would imagine she was quality enough. And obviously into nature, like that was a catch for him. And his ability to communicate with her was he was like competing with like he had no finesse at all. And and then this other yoga teacher that was very accepting of my macho-ness. I'd already been training with AZD for a couple years, but later, I mean, he's essentially bisexual. Like, and it was like, okay, man, this is fucked up. And where was I going? Like, I had a yoga teacher that sabotaged a bunch of my events, and he was all about it. I was studying AZD while I was studying with him, and he was jealous, basically. He's just jealous that I was sending so much money to AZD, not so much to him. And I was sharing videos, and his girl had a problem with it, and he was just immersed. And it turns out he was going and doing spiritual retreats with John of God in Brazil, who was later affiliated with Oprah Winfrey for slaving women in chains and cages and selling their babies into human trafficking. And he was traveling there doing spiritual surgery with that guy. And I don't think he knew anything about that stuff. And it's amazing that that other guy could be so hidden. But I mean, that's the ideas come from somewhere. So, okay, so you were here for 3 months. You had a bunch of wake-up calls. You had a bunch of breakthroughs. You had a bunch of ego checks.
Yeah.
What is overall like? What would you say as far as, I mean, you're 21, you're first time in America, you're not from like a community of players, you're, regular guy from regular Europe, and you're from Europe, European. Like maybe strip clubs were not part of your culture. Some people had problems with like we do game at strip clubs and that's where we train and everything. Like what do they need to know? What does the world need to know that you know?
That it's possible that when I was growing up, I wasn't like that accepted when it came to women. So I was building myself up so I would be accepted because I wasn't in the popular group. I was kind of the outcast. So when I saw this group, and it was pretty much like a group of men, just like
Group of outcasts, really. We're
a
all
group of
outcasts.
outcasts, yeah. And we just know there's a better way. And I know I can be better than the guys that grew up in the popular group or whatever. And I've even proven it, like as I was studying with AZD or AZD Tech, I saw how much I worked on myself and my communication because I attract, like we had some high school reunion or like some school reunion, and pretty much a lot of the girls were attracted to me.
Yeah.
I hold like 8 set or like 9 set,
Yeah.
like legit. But the thing is that I still didn't know like how to push through. And like I still wanted to okay, so I'm getting a bit off track. So
Yeah.
like the thing is that I saw that even though I was growing up and I thought I had these thoughts that I wasn't worthy of women or women weren't giving me that type of attention,
Yeah.
I can build myself up into a man that can get that. And then when I was here in Vegas and like studying with these guys and going out like a couple times a week and me interacting with women, getting corrections, me like tipping and talking to them, as I grew, my confidence grew, and at some
Yeah.
point,
Certainty.
yeah, I got certainty. And in that story of me having like a 3 set, because I had a girl on my left and 2 girls on my right, and they had like their legs over my legs, and it was such a good interaction that I saw that this stuff is possible.
You wouldn't be
That
able to do that with the budget that Jean is working with. I mean, these girls are working and you just would not be able to do that. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to measure. Like,
yeah,
they're like, well, you're at a strip club and three girls and their legs are draped over you. Bro, you're delusional. Bro, you try to make it happen. They'll come and go for about a couple minutes when they realize that you're not going to pay them enough, or you'll pay them and then they'll go and then it's not what it was. And you just feel taken advantage of.
yeah. Because the thing about us is that we, at least I'm gonna speak for me. I don't know about other guys, but let's say my budget is $50 per night. Just imagine that. There are other
Which is
guys,
basically like a date. Take a girl on a very cheap date, 50
yeah,
bucks.
but that was $50 for all 3 of them. And there were like even other girls I talked to. But
Yeah.
these girls were there because of me and because of the interactions we had. Because there are other guys at the same strip club that pull up in a Lambo or a Corvette, so a car that costs like $100,000. And they do have some girls at their table, but when you
Dishing out
sit
money, dishing out money.
dishing out money, throwing $100, $100, $100, $100. Meanwhile, those girls, they may be twerking, like actually legit twerking, but they have their faces and attention towards our group. So like, even though they have money, do they have a game? Can they talk to them? Can they actually like give them love? Even though that's like maybe an overused word, but
I mean, it's the classic, like she'll use him for the money, and then when he's not looking, she'll slip you her number.
yeah,
Like, which guy do you want to be?
exactly. And just that situation proved that, bro, I'm worthy. And the thing is that if I can do it, and from the position that I was growing up, I know that anybody that has the dedication and the drive to do it can do it. This stuff is accessible to anyone.
Was there anything
So,
here while you were here that like was surprising?
in what, you got any examples surprising or
Either surprising about the base, surprising about the realities of game, surprising about your own character. Maybe all the upgrades and things were that, but maybe something that you just didn't expect it was like that, or was it kind of as expected? And then, given that you're growing, so you're going into the unknown as you develop,
Mm,
or was it kind of
so
as advertised, so to speak?
I see a
That kind
couple
of thing.
things that we could talk about, but the main thing was that I see this stuff is accessible to anyone. Like if you legit have the dedication, if you have the will to do it, it's doable. Like if you think it's possible, it's possible. Like that would be the only thing that I would say. I know I could say a couple different things, but yeah, like just for me, just being around these guys and going out with them, there was this moment like when there was like me, Yogi Chris, AZD, and Wolf. That was like the Fantastic Four, like the 4 people that were out. And that was a strong group because the energy that we had, like the whole club was pretty much in that venue. That was the time when like Wolf had 6 girls, AZD had like 6, 7, 8, like a lot. I remember that time in the club, like I had popcorn and I was eating the popcorn while I was watching AZD doing his thing. And just seeing that in real life, that's like, imagine if there was like a movie that's not even out yet.
Yeah, it's National
And
Geographic for
it's National
humans.
Geographic, and you can get tickets. You can buy tickets to go out and see that. And you can, and of course, you can get popcorn, and eat like me and just observe. So,
And then when you
yeah.
hear somebody like, let's say a guy comes here, he goes back and his family's like, he's just paying for those girls. They're just bought and paid for.
The thing is that, yeah, that's a good question because I know I'm gonna have the same argument when I come back
Oh yeah.
home because strip clubs, even though there are like 3 strip clubs in my home country, people don't go to strip clubs. That's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like why do you go there? Those are whores and like it's very like looked down upon. But the thing that I wanted to say and that I'm gonna also say to my parents and the people that I talk to, whoever and asks questions, I'm gonna tell them that these are like normal girls that grow up the same way we did, but they just chose the path to go to work there. It's a similar job, even if you're like a waitress. But yeah, it's true you're in a bikini and some guys do pay you to take your top off, but it's good money. Like I understand why some girls do it. And the thing is that these girls, they are not looking for a man or for a boyfriend in the club because they go there to make money. So they're pretty much like sharks, they're predators. They look for men that would like pay them and give them money. So it's really rare to even like get a girl's number and then meet her outside of the strip club and then even like go on dates and have a real relationship. Like it's more difficult than you think. And man, I know like Yogi Chris could say way more about this stuff, but like when I experienced it, I saw like yeah, it is possible, but you have to be super fucking sharp and you have to be around like a super strong group like this to even make it possible. And
Well, it definitely
yeah,
accelerates your journey being around it. It's not like no guys anywhere that have never pulled a stripper. Like that happens.
yeah, it's possible, but
But
it's
on a
way
consistent
yeah.
scientific basis where it's like you could just make it happen over and over and over and go to the clubs that you have ex-girlfriends at and get next girlfriends and then ex-girlfriends and next girlfriends and multiple girlfriends know about each other and these girls are not accepting of that. You think that guys have stipulations or assumptions about what strippers are like. You just don't know. And go once, twice, 3 times, 10 times, you still don't know. Go hundreds of times and you really get the pattern of, oh, there's a yeah, everything you said, they're human, they chose that line of work, they're jaded,
Mhm.
XYZ, ABC, and so much experience with guys. One of the reasons I like dancers, I don't exclusively date dancers, but I like dancers because they don't really take any convincing about the manipulations and the perversions of guys. They're very aware. And so when they do find a guy they want to date, they don't tend to want other guys. They know how to repel guys and stay loyal to a guy. Now they're fucked up, so but every girl is fucked up. They're just fucked up in that way. I haven't met a girl that's not fucked
Mhm.
up. And you are immature if you think that there are some righteous, fucking levitating bitches that are so fucking perfect
Mhm.
that it's not gonna be work. T-Bone, haven't seen you in a while. Nah, dude, I don't watch baseball, but did you like it? Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
would go ahead, go.
not just girls that are fucked up. Like every single person is fucked up in their own
That
way.
is true.
But
Guys are bad.
yeah, and we study this tech to improve ourselves so we can go and heal the world and like have better relationships. Like I have a girl in Slovenia and our relationships has improved massively.
And you haven't
Like,
seen her for 3 months.
and I haven't seen her for 3 months. It was only like Instagram call like 2 to 3 times per week. And like the last time we spoke, she gave me an analogy of there's this like cartoon called Crudes, and it's like a family of caveman people, and there's this girl that's like a caveman, and there's a guy with the fire that has all this tech. And she made the analogy that I'm like this guy that has all this tech to her,
Yeah.
and that I'm offering her a better world because
Yeah.
in her family that she grew up in, her mom doesn't have a driver's license.
Yeah.
And when my girlfriend started to speak about like driving cars, she was jokingly or had this story of if I'm gonna drive a car, I'm gonna crash it and put it in a ditch. And I saw in that moment, I had the responsibility or the opportunity to say to her,
Yeah.
look, you have a better opportunity of life.
Yeah.
Like I can teach you how to drive a car and you're
Totally.
not gonna crash. Like that's just some negative things that you had
And
when you were
she
growing up.
wants a guy she's attracted to and she feels safe with
Yeah,
to guide her.
yeah. And the thing about us, or at least I'm gonna speak for me, I like doing that because I can offer her a better life. Like now that she spoke to me, like let's say when she bring up this crude analogy of the cartoon, she told me that yeah, I'm the guy that has like the fire, and she wants a better life. She wants to go here to America with me and be around me more. And of course, I want to be with her more. And also give her the better life that she learns English because she doesn't know English. So she learns English,
And she,
learns how to
man,
drive a car.
that's great.
Let's say start meditating, working on herself.
She has a
And
role model. She wants to be him.
yeah, and I want her to do great. And I know that relationship is going to be like a very strong, stable in my life and even in the lives of other people.
Yeah,
Because I think we're going to be an example
it's gonna
for
ripple goodness.
it's going to ripple goodness.
And I want to
Yeah.
say that you got closer over 3 months of distance because it's communication. You could be right
Mm,
next in bed with a girl and be so
mm,
distant with the communication, be across the world and so close with communication
yeah.
that this is actually the art and science of communication. The art because it has to be beautiful, and what
Mm,
women find beautiful is different than what men find beautiful. So you're communicating like a beautiful man,
mm.
close.
Yeah, and we have AZD who's like the North Star or like the lighthouse that just emanating light, and he's just like emanating, be good, be loving, love your women, take care of them. Even if other people come into a relationship and they try to suppress and they take it down, keep going, be the light, be
Hell
the
yeah.
light, be the light. And like this stuff is way more powerful than I thought. And
Dang.
like, you know
And he
what's,
thought it was a lot. At
bro,
21, borrowed money to come here
yeah,
at the age of 21, like right when he turned 21, and
yeah,
a whole never met us, like,
bro,
and so obviously he thought it was powerful, and now
yeah,
he's saying it's way more powerful than I thought it was.
like,
He was
yeah.
$5,000 convinced that how powerful it was, and
Yeah,
it's way more powerful than
and
that.
I still got way more journey because, man, okay, I'm gonna speak about this story. So, a year and a half ago, when I came back to AZD and found the Who Lies More game show, right?
Yeah. On the website,
On
IMC
the
Base
website,
One.
IMC based, yeah, IMCBaseOne.com. Like, they spoke about residency and people coming in person. And when I heard that, I was like, man, I really want to come in person. And I spoke to Yogi Chris, like, okay, what's the residency program? And he said that there's like a 2 week option, 1 week option, 3 month option. And I calculated what's the max of my visa, and it was 3 months. And at that moment, I was kind of like manifesting 3 months in Vegas, 3 months in
Wow.
Vegas, 3 months in Vegas. And I didn't know how the fuck would I get the money for it, right? I didn't know how could I get it. And at that moment, I was like, faith, 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 faith. And I just knew for how long I'm going to come to Vegas, I'm going to come to Vegas. And then the whole story is going to be in this ebook that you can get.
Totally, because it sounds like your spiritual teacher prepared you for that.
Yeah, she gave me the tech so this stuff could even manifest. So I'm really grateful for her. And man, so that manifestation ended up coming through because even though I only got like 5K in the beginning, man, it started off with me being broke, going to doing sales and then going broke, going like 3.5K into negative, and then going into the second sales job and then becoming profitable. But the same month I became profitable, I got people lending me money so I could do residency. And that was the same day I
Man.
also quit that job and started to pursue my own like software stuff that I then finished in that month before I came here to Vegas. So now in Vegas, I was supposed to be here for only 2 weeks because that's all the money I had access to. And then Yogi Chris is talking to me about messengers, which is like the highest possible training I can get here from AZD. But I would need like 20K for it. And he also offered me like another month of residency and things like that. So, but we calculated like the whole thing. So it would be like the 5K that I originally paid and another like 17K or like another 20K. Man, if you believe in God, if you have faith, in that moment, I knew I had faith and the money showed up. The money showed up, like legit, the 20K. Like keep it in mind, I'm fucking 21 years old. I came here on my 21st birthday. I didn't sleep that day because we had a talk like from after the beast camp got finished. like we finished the beast camp at like 11 p.m. our time. We had a call till like 3 a.m. in the morning, and then man, that was so cool. And then you recommended me to study mystery. Then I did that until like 5 a.m. Then I met my girl. Then I went to finish some errands and then talk to my grandma. I was awake for like fucking 30, 40 hours. I slept on the plane when I came here to Vegas, and man, this was like another like very, very spiritual align moment that just happened. And like, if you believe in God, I believe that was like God living through me, and all the things that happened here, they were so powerful. And man, like
Right on.
faith, God, that's it, man.
Man,
Yeah.
I hope you come back, and then we'll watch this
Hope.
together, and then
You
yeah,
just hope.
yeah, that's it. That's all I can do. It's out of my control.
Oh,
And then we'll watch this together, and you'll see how much you grew when you look back on this and be like, damn, because you did great.
yeah.
This was great. He was nervous about streaming, but nah, you
Uh,
did great.
yeah,
So
in the beginning, yes. But and I also, why was I nervous? Because I didn't want Yogi Chris to tag me on Instagram, because people from my area of Slovenia, where I'm gonna go back in like tomorrow,
oh,
I didn't want them to just like,
I
hey
should share it
bro,
with
I
them. I'm gonna
saw
share it with all of them. I'm gonna find all your friend list and share
yeah,
it to all of
I
them.
saw you on Instagram, bro. What was that speech about?
About strip clubs, you're
Strip
going to
clubs.
hell,
Yeah.
and they're gonna hate you, and then you're
You're
gonna be
gonna
like,
talk
fuck
to my
you.
mom and my sister and all the
Oh,
people
man, I
that
hope they
lend me the
do.
money,
The
bro.
sooner it happens, the better.
That is true. That is true.
All right, we gotta get ready to go out, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, you send follow-up questions to me. I'll forward them to Jean if you have a question for him. And appreciate everybody lending your participation. Going to imcbase1.com, free newsletter, 100 pieces of exclusive content with AZD. It's free. Great stuff.
Yeah.
You'll learn the beginning stuff, a lot of frames, a lot of imaginative
Yeah, and it
language.
works.
I mean, everything he does is going to put a piece right in your hardware and software about how to do this thing. He's doing it at the apex level, top of the planet. So it's entertainment at the
Yeah.
very least.
And man, before we finish it, like as I was listening to Yogi Chris for like a year, he always said AZD is the apex of the apex. He's above like Andrew Tate, Wes Watson, all these guys, like
In the game.
in the game. Yeah, when it comes to relationships, like yeah, financial wise, money wise, yeah, they're richer, they have Bugattis. That's cool, right? Of course, we want supercars too, so we're hypercars. So, but Yogi Chris was talking about Apex people, Apex games, the guy with so many relationships. Like I heard that, but part of me was like, man, what you talking about? Like, for sure that ain't real. Like you're making this stuff up. This is like a sales gimmick.
Yeah, right.
This is some bullshit. Like legit, that's my thoughts. And also because I was into sales, I knew like that's part of the game. Like you could like say that, right? But
Can you deliver it?
bro, I came here and I saw it in person with my own eyes, with my own mind, with my own body. And now I'm repeating like the same thing Yogi Chris said just because I saw it in person.
And while you were here, you saw the greatest pickup artist who ever lived and one of the greatest pickup artists who
Yeah.
ever lived.
You want to name them?
No,
Oh,
but both get frozen out. And they're one of the greatest senior
Wow.
coaches around. So you saw it wasn't just he was with AZD, AZD, AZD. He saw a bunch of players that improved,
yeah.
a lawyer, a PhD, and some other guys that are high level in their own way that kept improving while he improved. And then two outside coaches who are the top of the field come and just get smashed in the same venue.
Yeah. And bro, I went out when one of those coaches went out with us. The coach left. We had like a 3 hour session booked, or like we went to the club for 3 hours. And the coach left after like 1 hour when he saw how AZD was doing and how ours guys were doing and how his students just didn't come through. And man, when I saw that, like energetically, I could feel something isn't completely right there. But I could see like AZD speaking about like God and being clean. That played a huge part of it. And man, like the apex stuff or the apex naming is actually like it's the right words.
It's the right word
And
for it.
even bro, they have this analogy of like that people here, like the rich people, let's say, I'm gonna say like Andrew Tate, Wes Watson,
Sure.
they have like an airplane technology when it comes to relationships.
Yeah, it's high tech
But
compared to cavemen.
it's high tech, of course, and they get women, right? Private jets, private jet airplane. But they have this analogy that AZD has a UFO, like actual alien spaceship. And again, when I heard that, I was like, that's just a sales game.
That's just
That's
that's
bullshit,
clever.
bro.
That's clever word.
Yeah,
That's very
that's
poetic.
very, yeah, that sounds cool, And I could see myself like, oh yeah, AZD says that to his girls, to keep them interested,
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's so like a cool story, Forget the private jets. I have a UFO, you know. Like that was legit my mindset, right? And bro, I watched Andrew Tate videos, right? I watched his pimp and hose degree, his PhD course. I watched it, analyzed it. Bro, I tried his stuff. And then when I study like, okay, yeah, let's say Tate and let's say now AZD, and I go out and I see the results, like legit, this is a spaceship when it comes to relationship. Like, yeah, of course, Andrew Tate gets girls because he has a lot of money, but this is just like a more efficient way, even
He
though
gets sex with girls. You go back and watch the videos that you sent me of Andrew Tate and the girls around him, and then now you'll have different eyes of what submission is, submissiveness, respect. What does that look like when
yeah,
real attraction is versus a girl using the guy? You should really go back and watch those videos you sent me.
yeah, bro, I did watch him, and the thing is that I was like an Andrew Tate, like how do you call it? I was defending the guy, right? Like when I was talking about with my friends, we will bring up Andrew Tate and how he is with women, how alpha he is, how everything. Like, yeah, of course you are like the apex of your own part, but there's some tech here that can get you women to way more efficiently. There's also like another story, and we can go on and on,
We
but
could go on and on because
we
it's
got
not even efficiently. I have to put this on top of it. It's
yeah.
not the same thing. You get women like Andrew Tate, you don't get them at the depth that AZD gets them. You're
Mhm.
not really getting them. You're
Yeah.
getting sex maybe, but you're not getting the women. He doesn't keep women. He doesn't have multiple relationships for long term. That's not getting women. That's like being in the mix with things and you're in the game and it's at a higher level than most guys, but it's still got so many flaws, so many weaknesses about mother, about women, hatred, anger inside, and it's just manifesting in the relationships. So again, I'm a student, messenger of AZD. Come and see what the Apex game really looks like so that you don't get fooled by all of that mimicry and flashy flash, some flashy flow, some gold and
Yeah.
bling and that's game, man. I mean, whatever, dude, whatever.
Yeah.
Take it. I don't want it. You'll be the girl that's dancing on the other guy with the hundreds looking this way.
hmm
That's fine. I'm okay with that. We got to get going.
yeah,
Get out.
we gotta go.
No. So look for Jean. I'm sure he'll make content, more testimonies, and all sorts of things as it becomes more clear to him. Look for his ebook. It'll be on IMC Base One also, but go there right now. Sign up for the newsletter, imcbase1.com. Salute everybody. Be the best. Fuck the rest.
Os.
Os.